I got a message from one of my followers recently saying, I'm worried that publishers will reject me and not take my manuscript seriously because I'm too young. Have you ever felt this way before? And the answer is yes, quite a lot, especially when I was younger, and even sometimes now. And yet, when I examine the source of these thoughts and feelings in myself, I can't find any evidence for them. I know that I feel like they're true, but I also know that I have not been personally rejected for being too young. And I don't know anyone else who has been either. And yet I still feel like it's true. But the real truth is supported by evidence. The real truth is that young people who are talented aren't called too young. They're called protégés, and people love them. People respect them. I think of Maddie Ziegler, who dances in pretty much all of Sia's music videos, or Christopher Paolini, who published the best-selling novel Aragon when he was just 18 years old. Being young and talented is not a hindrance, it's a marketing asset. Now, maybe there actually are publishers out there who will reject you for being too young. I don't know, maybe I just haven't run into them yet. But I can tell you that when I used to say, I'm too young to do this or that, what I was really doing was creating an excuse to stay in my comfort zone. I was so afraid of publishers rejecting me that I rejected myself before they ever had a chance. Now, this is self-sabotage, plain and simple, but it actually makes some sense if you think about it. As writers, we want to appear in libraries, in people's homes, we want to become bestsellers, and let's not kid ourselves, we've all thought about what it would be like for our book to be adapted into a movie or a TV show. And yet we are painfully, acutely aware that in order for all these things to happen, a publishing company has to accept us. And so, behind the gates of their acceptance lies everything we've ever dreamed about becoming. And we know if we're rejected, if they reject us, those gates will close. It's an awful feeling. And so, in anticipation of that unbearable pain, we decide to make excuses, to self-sabotage and justify it by saying things like, well, I'm too young for it to matter, which makes sense in the short term to spare yourself pain. But in the long term, every single one of us, each and every single writer in the world knows in order to become published, they have to submit and risk rejection. And we also know that submitting and getting rejected produces the exact same results as never having submitted at all. In both cases, we remain unpublished. It's just the hurtful feelings that make the difference. But I want you to know that rejection isn't as bad as you think it'll be. The thought of rejection is actually more terrifying than rejection itself. And I promise you, you are strong enough to handle it. You're strong enough to conquer it. When you get rejected, it might feel for a second like, oh my God, my world is ending. But then there's another moment that comes after. A better moment. This is the moment when you realize, well, if they don't want me, I'll submit it somewhere else. You turn rejection into an opportunity. So when you have those thoughts about, I'm too young to be published, I'm too young to be taken seriously, whether in writing or in life, I want you to introspect and examine those thoughts and feelings. Do you have any evidence for them? If so, that's actually pretty great, because it means now you can create a concrete plan of action to overcome this obstacle. On the other hand, if you don't have any evidence for them, that means it's just a thought, just a feeling. And you can dig deeper and ask yourself why you really have that. Are publishers really going to reject you for being too young? Or are you so afraid of rejection that you're going to reject yourself before they ever have a chance? Thanks for watching, y'all. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Click all those clicky buttons that you can click. And if you like drinking coffee, you can become a Patreon supporter of this page for less than a cup of coffee per month. How awesome is that? I think it's pretty awesome, and you should definitely consider doing it because you get exclusive patron-only benefits like access to the patron-only Discord server, free friend links to my creative writing articles that are normally behind the medium.com paywall, as well as sneak peeks on what I'm working on next, private one-on-one Q&A sessions, critique services for your writing, and much, much more. So go over to the Legendary Writing Patreon, check it out, consider becoming a supporter today. Thank y'all, and have a wonderful day. As always, happy writing.